Hello everyone and welcome to Myrtleknits. Hope you've all had a good couple of weeks. We've had a good couple of weeks here. We've had a bank holiday in between, which I'll get to in just a moment. But first of all, as always, I just want to say thank you so much to everybody who's been watching my videos. It's really kind of you. Again, always feel free to add a comment, press like if you like it. Don't dislike if you don't like it. Obviously, I'm not everybody's cup of tea, and also subscribe. That's something that makes. I think I just speak for myself, but I'd imagine for a lot of people, it's just nice to see that people are interested, that they want to see you again. Really, so anybody that's returning, thank you, and any new viewers today, welcome and thank you. Now, what's been going on? So I've done a couple of things. So this, what I'll start off by saying is I've managed to do some thumbnails and chapters because I just think that maybe not everybody wants to hear, perhaps, for instance, this bit, when not the next bit, which is the what's going on, just the couple of things I've done over the past couple of weeks. They might want to get straight to the knitting. So I've done these timestamps in the if you look down in the description. And you can just fast forward to that or press that link and it'll take you straight there. So let me know how that goes. If you find that useful and actually that's something you appreciate, let me know. The other thing I've done is, I don't know whether anybody noticed that I managed to create a thumbnail. And it's got my little logo on, the You Are Knitworthy, spelled E-W-E. It's a sheet design that I did, and then one of my daughter's friends, who very artistic, she took it into the system and gave it a little play and made it look much better. But I must admit, when it came back, there was part of it that I thought, I felt guilty chasing her to ask her to do things. So there was another bit that I needed doing, and I decided, do you know what, I went into GIMP, and it took me a couple of days where I'm sure it would have taken her 2 seconds, and I just taught myself a bit. So there's part of it which I did, but a lot of it is what she helped with my drawing. So I did a rough drawing and she neatened it all up and made it look much nicer. So take a look at that I've got some little pins, which I'll show you one day. I also got some bags with it on. But if you just look on my thumbnail, you'll see the little circle, pink circle with the You Are Knitworthy. So that's another thing I did, and it shows which episode I'm on. And obviously today is episode, obviously, it's not obvious, is it? Today is episode 8. So what else has been going on? We stick with that. Oh, I caught up with Ranunculus. I used to watch them ever such a lot. For some reason, I don't know why, I've not been watching them quite so much, and they are just, they're so lovely to watch, and they get up to all sorts of adventures and they do some beautiful crafting. But they met up with Kate from The Last Homely House, which is another YouTube video I really like watching. And I saw that come up, it popped up, and I thought, oh, I must watch that. That's such a lovely thing that they're getting together. Anna and Carlos are from Norway, and Kate is here in England. I didn't say that, I don't think I was during my introduction, that I'm here in the south of England in a place called West Sussex. So it was lovely to see them, and I really enjoyed the programme they put together, the video they put together. Kate talks about a lime green sofa she has. She sends things off one side and things off another side, and the people watching the video are the people on the lime green sofa, and they share things all the way around. It's quite sweet. So I caught up with them, really good, and I'm going to make sure I'm going to watch Ranunculus with their sit and knit a bit, which they tend to do regularly. So I'm going to get back into that. I've watched a couple of other YouTubers, new ones as well, which I'll maybe put some together to let you know next time, just in case you fancy having a look at some of the YouTubers I've been watching. The other thing, the kite. So anybody that's watched before know that I've had several attempts at flying the kites that I bought at Easter time with no success. But a couple of weekends ago, so just after my last video, there was a day that I thought, I think it's windy enough, I think it's okay, so off we trundled, and we went down to part of the beach, and on the beach it was okay, we managed to do fairly well. In fact, my daughter's girlfriend, she probably did the best. I was like, okay, well, we're home now, we were there for quite a while doing it, and then when we stepped back over onto the green before heading to the car, that was much windier. So I said, I've just got to have a little go here, see if it's any better. And yeah, the kite went up and I was in my element. So my kite was flying and I was having a lovely time. So I look forward to doing that again soon. And the other thing that we went for a midweek break down to Dorset to visit my daughter, although they were here the weekend. They were here the weekend, which when we did the flying of the kite, and then they went home on the Sunday, and then on the Monday we followed them down and had this midweek break in a van in Dorset, which was really nice, very relaxing. We go for several dog walks. The particular park we go on is nice to walk around. We went to my daughter's and her girlfriend's house and had some dinner, and then we had another day on our own, and then they also came to us one of the days, and we went to a place, I think I might have mentioned it in the last time we went down in one of the videos. Went to a place called Lulworth Cove to have an ice cream, and went right into the cove. After, first of all, earning our ice cream, we walked up a bit of a hill, not the one that goes over, there's a place that you can go from Lulworth Cove, you go all over the cliff. I don't know if it's a cliff. Well, maybe it's a cliff. And you go all the way over and you go down into Durdledore. But I've only ever done that once, and I just got to the top, but I did find, I've got a bit of a thing with heights, and I did find a bit of a draw as I was coming down. I found it quite difficult to look over where I was tending to look away to where the edge was. So we went up, but there's another part you can go up, you can climb up, and they've got a viewpoint. But again, because of my height thing, I didn't go completely up to the viewpoint. But from where I was standing, it was lovely. I had a lovely view of the whole cove and out to sea, so that was really nice. And then we went into the cove, and it's a stony cove, and we walked along, found a nice rock to sit on, and my husband and the dog went for a little paddle. I haven't got one of these dogs that absolutely loves the water, and is in there all the time. He's not like that at all, but if you go in with him, he's quite happy to paddle up to his belly, and that's all he does, really. I've yet to ever see my dog swim. And so that's it. That's really what I've been up to the past couple of weeks. We've got some beautiful sunshine, and that's been, goodness, we've had quite a few days now where we could probably do with some rain for the garden, but it's been lovely in the daytime to have the sunshine, so making the most of that as well. Now, the next thing we're going to go into is finished objects. Now, the finished objects this week, because I do it every couple of weeks, there isn't any, I'm afraid. I was hoping that I was going to get the little toy that I've been doing. I was hoping I was going to get that done, and although I've worked on it regularly, I haven't really sort of spent a great deal of time working on it. So I think that one is going to be a finished object for next time. So finished objects, there isn't any this week. So we'll go straight on to the previous knits section, which I've been doing. I did my first video and thought it might be a nice section to add, because I've got lots of previous knits that I've done over the years, were the ones that I've kept. I don't know whether I've said on some of the previous videos, I've knitted for years and years and years, but I started knitting garments in my teens, really, and some of them were beautiful, to the point that being young, we used to borrow each other's clothes. My friends used to borrow the clothes. I never know where these beautiful items went. I just so wish I'd kept them. But back then you just kind of think, oh, you know, that's it, just pass that on. Well, like I said, I'm not even sure they got passed on. I'm not really sure what happened to them, which is a real shame. But I've also got lots of other knits that I've done that I can show for a time until they run out, and I can show them no more. So today's previous knit is the shawl that I've got one of these hiding up in the cupboard as an unfinished object at the moment. I'd stumbled across it I'd mentioned it in one of my other videos. I stumbled across it going through the cupboard and thinking I probably should get that out and finish that at some point. But this is a big shawl. I mean, it's lovely, it's quite heavy, and so if you need to wash it, I do try to air things, but I have had to wash it because there was a time when I showed you this shawl that I wondered whether the moths had a little nibble on, and I just wanted to be sure that nothing was in some of my precious knits, so I did everything got a bit of a rinse in some vinegar water, but it does make it for a heavy item to handle. So it's a V shape, but the bottom, if I can show you, I'm going to hide myself, I'm afraid, I'm going to disappear, but the bottom is straight across like that, which I really quite like. And the pattern doesn't have this edging. I just decided I wanted to crochet some edging on just to finish it off. It's got a nice little eyelet detail, as you can see, poke my thumb through there. And this is a free pattern. I'd like to try and say that I've got some notes in me, because I will look down every so often and I will turn the page so you'll hear me rustling. The pattern is called the Herb Garden Shawl, and it's a free pattern on Ravelry. It's by Nettie Dilaronto. That's my writing. Dilaronzo. I'm hoping I've pronounced that correctly. It's Dilorenzo. Again, previous videos I mentioned in the description, I will put as many links as possible to make it nice and easy for you just to click on and travel to the place. But I will try and list as much as possible of everything I've shown, so all the yarns I've shown, some of the designers that I've shown, so go and check those out in the description. I've added them all there, and also on Ravelry I will do some video notes, so you can go and check those as well. So that is my previous knit for this week. Unfortunately, it's a bulky, I can tell you it's a bulky yarn. It was on a 6.5mm needle, I believe. It's garter stitch, so every row is knit. This is the back of the scarf, shawl. I decided to add a stripe. The one on Ravelry, the original design, is just a plain colour, but I've popped a stripe in there. I think I did it originally because I wasn't sure how much yarn I had. I think the green yarn I'd got as an eBay purchase, and the kind of, it's like a beige, that was my local yarn shop at the time, and that was in the sale, I believe. So unfortunately I haven't got the names. I know they are pure wool, I believe, both of them, and it's bulky, so I think you could probably use any bulky yarn that you wanted to use. So don't check that pattern out if you've got Ravelry, especially being free. You know, I'm quite happy to purchase a pattern, and as you know from previous videos, I'm trying to purchase every other week just to shine the light on a designer. But it's also nice, I've put some free patterns up on Ravelry before, and it's really nice to see people when they're interested in those, and they've downloaded them, so downloaded them and hopefully knitting them. But yeah, that is my previous knit for this week. The next thing I've got is what's on my needles, but I've also put what's on my needles and what's on my hook, because I have got the little bunny, which I'll show you. I've bought the book again so I can show you this, so anybody's interested in, this is the book I purchased, and this one here, I'm trying to do them in order, and the little rabbit was first. So I've got the little rabbit on the go. I've now got 2 legs, I've got half an arm, I've got a head, I've got a body, and I've got 2 ears. So I'm doing quite well. I've just got 1.5 of the legs to do, and the little, I believe there's a little bunny tail, and then I'll have to put just do the face. So I think next time it's going to be here, she says. Okay, so that's the first thing on my needles. The next thing I've got is, I've been doing a bit of design, so I've been doing some socks since the last, I think I was doing them, I just started them, I think, when we spoke last time, and they are called Dip Your Toe In. They were going to be called Boat and Anchor because I've got a bit of a boat and anchor topper, so on the top of the sock there's a boat and anchor design, but I've also got a sea design, the waves, and at the bottom I've put several rows of waves before I do the colour toe, and I just thought it just reminded me of dipping your toe in, because the toe is the same colour as the waves. I'll show you. I've had to unpick part of it because I've got a feeling as well. I was just trying to use some yarn that I had, and I don't think I had quite enough of the light blue. So unfortunately, I may have to introduce another colour, but which would be good because I'll know that they're nice in 2 colours and that they are also hopefully going to be nice, maybe introducing a 3rd colour. So these are the waves, and then this colour here is going to be the toe. So it's going to look like you're dipping your toe in the waves. That's what it reminded me of in the end. Now, I've not shown you the topper because I do think I might release this as a pattern, and I'm hoping for some test knitters. So if you're interested in test knitting this design and you want to contact me via private message on Ravelry or on Instagram, again in the description my details will be on there. I'm probably looking for maybe 2 to 5, should we say, test knitters, and I will send the pattern when it's ready. I'll keep in touch with you, and I'll be here for any questions, and then perhaps if you could just maybe share it on your Instagram, and also do a project page on Ravelry, or just be part of the test knit with the test knit codes, just so I've got access, that there's a photo I can pop up to go along with my one, so I can see other people's designs, other people's colours they've chosen. Get in touch, and also I'll let you know that these are both paint box yarns. Haven't got the colours with me right now. I'm just trying to think if I could remember them off the top of my head, but I haven't. So there's the cuff as well. The cuff's also in that darker colour, so I'm really pleased with them. So let me know if you want to test knit. If I don't hear from anybody, I'll probably allow the test knit for 3 weeks. I think maybe enough time. And once this video goes out, there'll be a week just to see if anybody comes, and if not, I will start to write the pattern up, and I will pop the pattern on Ravelry anyway. But it'd be really nice to have some test knitters and some extra photos to put on the page that people first see when they're looking to see if they want to purchase a design. Okay, so that's Dip Your Toe In socks. The next thing I've got, I'm going to try not to, last time I threw stuff on the floor and I had to bend down and pick it up. I've tried to be careful. I haven't got quite so much, so because I found a box, I thought I'm going to put stuff in a box, but there isn't quite so much in the volume on the chair today, so I'm hoping nothing's going to fall off. So my next thing I've got is my Crescent cow, which I've shown you a couple of times now. In fact, I think I've got a feeling I've got fluff. I keep getting a bit of an itchy face. I think some of the fluff from the Drops Kid Silk has got me. So I think last time I started the decreasing, stopped the increasing, which I think was about here, so it shows I really haven't done very much of this at all. But I thought I'd still bring it and show because it's coming along. I love these colours together, and I did say that the fabric it's made, I do quite fancy making a jumper at some point. So I'll just pop that down and I'll give you the details, pick the colours up to show you on their own. So I'm holding these two together and this one on their own. So these are Drops Kid Silk. They are colour 18 and 19. And this is a Lana Grossa Tre Seta. And how did I manage that? I didn't manage to put down the colour. And if I just quickly look here, I'm hoping it might be written previously. Colour 11, I managed to find it, flicking through. That's colour 11 there. In my last video I mentioned on my bedtime knit, which I haven't got with me today, I gave a wrong colour code out, but I did put in the description just to let you know that it was the wrong colour code. I'm not sure the one I've written down, if it exists, and two, it might be quite interesting to see what colour it is. Now, my last thing I've got is the Ranunculus train. Came to West Sussex and I hopped on. And as you know from previous videos, I have good intentions of knitting from a pattern and then I go off on my own little adventure. But I think, I'm hoping, I'm going to completely stick with this. I think there might be some adjustments that I make, but the reason I've decided I wanted to do this, I've had it in my library on Ravelry for a couple of years or so. But a couple of episodes ago, I was watching the Grocery Girls and Jodi, they're two sisters, and Jodi was wearing a pink ranunculus and it was absolutely beautiful. I just really loved it. Now, I'm saying pink, and I think it's probably the pink that was part of the draw. I'm not doing it in pink. I was trying to use up, again, yarn that I've already got. So this is the start of it. So this is what I've done. And I'm actually holding 3 yarns together. I didn't quite get gauged, but I just had did a few quick workings out and then picked the size that I wanted to do, which I'm doing a size 3. We'll see how it goes. And the yarns I'm using again is another Drops Kid Silk. And I'm holding that, I'm actually holding, like I said, 3 yarns with this. And this colour is 27. So it's a really nice blue. And then I've got these from Woolly Knits. They do yarn to cone. And this is 90% merino wool and 10% nylon. And it's they call it a 3-ply. So these 3 held together is creating this look here, which I'm really happy with. So I shall probably bring this along weekly because I'm not sure how long it's going to take me, but so far, I say so far so good. Actually, this last row that I'm doing, I'm actually unpicking because I went wrong back here. So I know where it is, my mistake, and I've just got to pick back to that, and then I'm off and running again. So hopefully that will grow by next week. Not next week, why did I say next week? In the next couple of weeks. And I'll have that to show you some more of how far I've got. Now I think that is everything for what's on my needles and what's on my hook. And the next thing is what's in the frame. Now, in the frame today it's an original pattern that I had. It's one of my first patterns I designed, and it's called an arrow-phone-doodle-sock. So I don't know whether you can see, it's actually, I always do that little, which way do I go? So if you look carefully, you can see that there's arrows going up. Oh, look, it's really difficult to, arrows going up and arrows coming down. So which way they're going. Like I say, I designed it a long time ago, and the reason it's called a phone doodle sock is when I worked at the office and I'd be taking a call. I nearly went like that when I was taking a call, make my own little phone. I used to doodle, and one of the doodles was arrows. I've got a couple of doodle socks that I designed, but I love these. The colour combinations you get, so I've got one I think is like in an orange and green, but because the design, it is an all over design, I really like the colour combinations you can just put together. I think there could be some lovely colours, and again I will probably be knitting another pair of these soon to help update my shop a bit, because also on here I'm having to turn around to do it now because I can't work it out. I'd probably be, imagine driving and trying to reverse a trailer or a caravan. I've got a feeling that must be what that feels like, that I possibly wouldn't get that right. This is a 1x1 again pattern over the back, just to take your yarns across, and I think I'd like to do a downward stripe, so it's all kind of heading in one direction, one way or t'other, whichever way you see the arrows. So you will be seeing some more that I've knitted. Again, if you want to visit my shop, I don't really want to say too much about the shop, but if you do want to go and visit and you want to do this, that would be most appreciated, just to see some other people's colours that they use. Like I say, I am updating my shop, so if you buy a pattern, because I've made a couple of updates, because a lot of my patterns I did a long time ago, you might find immediately afterwards, if you buy it before I've done some of my updates and housework on my shop, you might find that I send that prompts me to, I need to just double check everything, and you might find an update comes through, and it's normally a bit of the heel I've been changing, which is also part of future plans, some heel work, but I haven't really said too much about that. Okay, that's very cryptic, isn't it? Very cryptic. So that's what's in the frame this week. One day I'm going to run out of socks to put in the frame, but I'm trying to come up with other ideas that I can do. One of them is I've got a downstairs toilet in the house, and it's got a couple of picture frames in, and soap dispensers, and I've got a shelf that I can put things on, and then I've got the towel rail. And what I tend to do, as something comes along, let's say it could be Easter, Pride Month, Christmas, Halloween, I've taken to changing the photos over. So the prints that I've got in, I get towels for whatever occasion it is, match the soap dispenser, put up an ornament, and just as a bit of fun. So, you know, any visitors, which just tends to be my family, the children, I just change it. Bit of a strange thing. So what I'm thinking is it might be a smaller frame, and maybe I'll put a print in it sometimes. Excuse me, did you hear my stomach then? I did eat a bit of breakfast this morning. So it could be prints, could be a message, could be a previous item that I've had in the frame before, going back to the beginning, starting like a rotation. So we shall see. Again, it's like, watch this space, so I'll keep you posted on what I do. Okay, so plans, which I've already mentioned, the shop tidy. That is a case of going through, re-knitting some of the items in there to change the designs a little bit, which you'll get an update on. I'll make sure I give you those options to be able to, you can do both. Some things will be going there at the moment. I don't know what happened. I put a free pattern up and it was my one, I can't think of the name of it. It was part of the anti-bullying socks that I did, the purple with some arrows at the top. So if you see those, they're not actually active at the moment because I wanted to update that particular one, and I took it out, and then I haven't got the original amendable document. So I copied and pasted it into a new document and it just sent it all over the place because of I guess the format of it. I don't really understand these things too much, and so I'm having to, it's almost like I'm rewriting it. So when that is done and I put that back up, anybody that's already downloaded the free one and has got that as part of their patterns, and if they've knitted it, you might get one that reads slightly differently, but you will at least have both and you can compare, and or just, you know, not download the other one. Entirely up to you. But again, that's an ongoing process now, working on the shop, and some things will, I said it won't be anything that's immediate because it's going to take a while. Some things may disappear from the shop, I may retire them, but anyway, I'll let you know. I don't want to talk about the shop, going on about the shop. I'm stopping there. So the other thing is, I've mentioned about a tutorial. I want to get going. I want to do a video of, so once I finish this pattern, I want to do of the Dip-Your-Toe-In, I want to do a vanilla sock and record it, each section, just as a tutorial really, to help people like follow along how to knit a sock. But within that, there's going to be some extra heel stuff as well. So, and then that again will be on Ravelry too. Okay, now I think that's really, plans wise, that's about it. My purchases this week, there won't be purchases every week, but I went back to the Crafty Bird. So last time I showed you a lovely skein yarn that I got from her, and some beautiful pom-poms that I'm just going to make hats for throughout the build up to winter. But I did notice she had some really nice blue pom-poms. They were in the sale, and I ended up, I think I bought 4 from her in the end, because I've mentioned before that my daughter's boyfriend plays football, and the colours for his team are this blue. So I thought I could make myself a pom-pom and maybe one for my daughter. Like I said, I've got 4, so there'll be some lucky other recipients. But isn't that beautiful blue? So I will be making hats, and I will be showing you as and when I get to those. But that was my purchase. So the Crafty Bird yarns, pom-poms, check her out. She's great. I think that is everything from the knitting section. So again, remember, I've got some chapters and timestamps that you can go and check, so you can move around the video, watch the bits you want to watch, don't watch the bits you don't want to watch it all, whatever you want to do. But that's it for the knitting section. Okay, so anybody that doesn't want to move on to, I do 2 more sections, which is, and they're very brief, what's on the box and planting, all part of my gardening. If you want to stay for that, that'd be great. If not, I look forward to seeing you next time, and thank you for watching, to all the crafters. So now, what's on the box? What have I been watching? Again, I need to look down a lot more this time go, because I've written them down. So we stored up some Grey's Anatomy and Station 19 and my daughter's been watching them, and she says they are best to try and watch one on one because they are linked. So we started those last week, and as usual, we've been watching Grey's Anatomy for a long time. Really enjoying them. They're really good. So Grey's Anatomy is based in a hospital, and Station 19 is based in a firehouse. I think they call it a firehouse. We call them no. We actually say fire station. So Station 19. It must be the same, mustn't it? Because it's filmed in America. The other thing is we watch Desperate Housewives. That's normally a bit of bedtime watching. I'm doing my bedtime knitting and with my cup of tea. And we're actually on the last series of that. I was checking to see how many series there were, because we're on series 8, and I thought I'd read that it was 9 series. So I was just checking. When I looked, I think it was about 180 episodes, and I can't believe we've watched all of those. But I guess when I think back to it, we've probably been watching it for some time now, some months. So it is taking us a while still. Yellowstone, again for the scenery. The horses, just seeing the horses, the characters are good. I've said before, it is my one that I hide behind my cushion a little bit to watch, but we're enjoying that still. So I'm not sure how much further. I must check that as well, how many more of those we have to watch. But they're really good. MasterChef Australia, that's another one, but we're always watching those because I've mentioned in previous videos we're actually 10 years behind, and each season of them has about 70 odd in. We've just got, I think we're on about episode 40 something, and I don't watch all of them. I don't watch they do like a teaching one, I think they call it a master class. I may have made that up. And I skip past those ones, but we're on about episode 40 something, and they're just up to their top 10. So who's made the top 10? They're really enjoying that. Unfortunately with this one, I was Googling something. I don't know about whether everybody's like this, but if I'm watching something and perhaps I see somebody, I think, oh, what have they been in? Google it, see what they've been in, or I want to find something out. And I did that with, I can't remember, I was trying to find out about a previous contestant on the season before, and I typed it in and it came up with the season that I'm on and showed who won. So I actually know who's won this one, which is fine. I've still really enjoyed watching it, but it's not quite the same when you actually know who's going to win. It's like whenever we watch rugby and football, and if I know the score, I'm like, I don't need to watch it now. I don't think everybody's like that, but that's me. That's how I end up. I'm like, nah, I won't watch it now. Okay, so Gogglebox is another thing we watch that we can get here, and that's about different groups of people watching the telly and commenting on the telly or what's actually on. So that's quite good, unless you're watching a series yourself, which you get a bit behind on. Then you watch Gogglebox and then they show the series. You have to be careful there if you don't want to find out, like I did with MasterChef Australia. You don't want to find out about something. It might be best to avoid it until you've caught up on your programmes. And then Big Brother Australia I found just as part of my daytime, if I'm sitting doing some knitting, just something to watch. And it's Big Brother Australia, but I haven't watched a great deal of it, I must admit, but it's nice knowing it's there. It's there at a tap of a button that I can watch a bit more as and when, and I find that kind of reality programme, it doesn't matter if I'm not watching it in real time. Obviously this one's a recording anyway, and if I have a big gap, I find it that's fine. So, but I do like a bit of reality TV. So that's everything for what's on the box. My next thing is my gardening. Oh no, it wasn't. There is another one for what's on the box. While we were away, we we don't watch a lot of films, but I do love to watch a film. I watch more in the winter, but we watched Knives Out, Glass Onion. But like anything, when you go to a new place and you're not in your own bed, your sleep's not quite as good. That's what I'm blaming it on anyway. And I got a little way through and then fell asleep. So my husband's watched it all with me snoring in the background, and I need to watch it. So I will speed forward for the bit I've already seen and then watch the rest. But what I did see, I thought it was really good. So I really enjoyed the first one. It's a bit of a kind of a murder mystery type of program, but they both, the first one and the second one, I've got some great actors in. So check that out if that's something that you might think would be your cup of tea. Now, in the planting and the gardening section, so we'll start again. This is the gardening section. I've done lots of tidying of borders. My husband's been helping too. So the garden is starting to look neat and tidy, as well as functional as a veggie plot. We went to, as I said before earlier on, went to my daughter's, and her girlfriend is actually quite green fingered. She's got lots of plants up. I'd sent her away the weekend they were down here before with some tomato plants, and I've got the same ones, and hers are so much better than my ones. Mine are in a greenhouse and she has hers in her conservatory. So maybe that's the way to go, because they look absolutely great. But by going to her garden and seeing everything she's done, it did give me a bit of motivation, because I've been lacking in motivation and wanting to get out into the garden. So I feel as if I've achieved quite a bit. I managed to get my runner beans in, my French beans, some courgettes, the geraniums that I'd grown from seed I've put out, so that hopefully they're going to grow and the colour will start to come out soon. I think I did pink ones, but they're quite a hardy plant that I can keep going, keep it looking nice. I've got my onion sets in, so they'd arrived in a box, the heat treated onion sets, and they were sitting outside, goodness, I don't know how many weeks, but they're finally in. I sowed some beetroot seeds, and I also sowed some swede seeds. We tend not to eat the swedes, but I've done it again, so I just had one that came up last year, and it's gone to seed. It's one of the beds that I've still got to pull up. But my daughter brings her rabbit round, Peter Rabbit, and he loves a swede leaf. So I put some swede in just so I can give Peter Rabbit a swede leaf when he comes round. And then we've got 5 boxes. There's one big box, vegetable box, and then some smaller beds, smaller boxes. And the big box is going to have the runner bean frame in this year, but it was so overgrown. It also has our little compost pile in. But my husband did a grand job he's dug over half of it, certainly enough to put the bean frame in. So hopefully next weekend, no, it might not be, because we've got family visiting again. Might be the following week it won't be that week, because that's my birthday weekend. Maybe the following week we'll get the bean frame built. I'm just thinking the beans probably, no, I think that'll work. The beans have only just gone in, but they'll probably be up and definitely running by then. So that first opportunity, I think that'd be that first weekend. My stomach just rumbled again. I do apologise if you heard it. Now, I think for this episode, I think that's absolutely everything. So if you've enjoyed watching, please put a thumbs up and subscribe. If you haven't enjoyed watching, also put a thumbs down, but I'm guessing you might not have got this far. If you didn't like it, you probably would have switched off. And I look forward to seeing you next time. Don't forget, if you fancy doing a test knit, give me a message and we can have a little chat, and I can then keep you posted and get the pattern sent to you as soon as possible. But take care for now, everybody. Enjoy your next couple of weeks. Hope you get lots of crafting done, and I'll see you then. Cheerio. Bye.